TheoJT friends, welcome back to my channel. My name is Adi and today I have another lore dump video for you. Today I'll be talking about the world map of the land Ireus and all of the towns, cities and civilizations that reside there. You'll notice that what I'm drawing today is a copy of the world map. Before I go off rambling, let me give you a quick explanation though about what Ireus is. Ireus is where my work-in-progress story, The Adventures of Moss, is set. The Adventures of Moss, which I hope to turn into a graphic novel, is about a 6-year-old human boy called Moss, who was abandoned in the forest as a baby. He was found by the Harefolk, a small people that lived deep in the forest. They took him in and raised him as one of their own. The story follows Moss after he accidentally falls into the river and gets washed away from home, and has to find his way back. Okay, now that that's been said, let's get on to the lore dump. And like my previous lore dump video, I have some visual aids to help get what I'm blabbering about across. In Ireus, there are 5 civilizations. The humans, or human folk, the harefolk, the badgerfolk, the wolffolk, and the merfolk. Yes, there are mermaids. The harefolk live in the warren, the badgerfolk live in the set, which is what a little burrow that the actual badgers live in, by the way. Isn't that weird? The wolffolk live in the den. All of these ones are in the forest, away from the humans. The merfolk are in the ocean, and keep clear of the coast where they could be seen. There are some old stories, legends, and myths that the humans have about these animal people, but other than that, they don't really know that they exist. Only children believe in that stuff kind of thing. But with the merfolk, you will find that most fishermen believe in their existence even if they have never seen them before. The first civilization I will talk about is the harefolk, which most of you will have seen before, since these are the people that took in Moss when they found him abandoned. They look like this. There are various features that make them look different from one another, like ears, fur color, eye shape, and body shape. For the 4 animal folk civilizations, there was just a siren. That was so weird. For the 4 animal folk civilizations, I have kind of assigned each of them like a shape, and that shape sort of informs things like their architecture style and what kind of symbols they use and other cultural aspects of their people. The harefolk have a circle. The majority of their buildings are round, all of their symbols are rounded and soft, and their pottery, which is one of their cultural hobbies, is always rounded and smooth. The next civilization is the badgerfolk. I haven't expanded on how all of the badgers look different from one another yet. I've only done that for the harefolk. But this is what the average badger person would look like. For the shape, the badgerfolk have a square. Most of their buildings are actually not buildings, but several rooms that are connected underground. But of the few buildings that are above ground, they are all square and rectangular. The badgerfolk also do a lot of embroidery as an art form, and their symbols and motifs that are found in their embroidery, among other things, are all square and rectangular. Next is the wolffolk. Imagine these guys as sort of having Viking vibes. I'm still working on their design, so I don't have an image to show what they look like yet, sorry about that. But the wolffolk are fighters and hunters, but they also keep mountain cows, which kind of look like Highland cows, but they have bigger horns and more fur. So much fur, in fact, that it can be sheared. The wolffolk do carving as their go-to art form, which can either be wood carving or carving in stone. For the shape, the wolffolk have a triangle, and all of their symbols and motifs are triangular or angular. Finally, the merfolk. The merfolk are the least developed out of all of the animal folk. All I know about them right now is that they're a genderless species. Like some fish in real life, they can change their sex at will to be the one that they need to reproduce. So culturally, most of them are either non-binary, intersex, or agender. And the only clothes that they wear are beaded necklaces. Since they don't have any exterior genitalia, they don't need to wear anything to cover up. They make the beads out of glass, shells, and pebbles, among other things. I think that the amount of necklaces they have will directly link to their social status. Like, the more necklaces that they have, the higher their social status is. I'll put an image of a sketch of what I think they would look like on the screen for you. They also don't have a shape yet. I'm still working on that. Okay, that was all of the animal folk. Moving on to the humans. The humans have the full east side of Iraeus. The humans have one royal city, which is called DeusLower, and 3 villages/towns, Grasstide, Bellmire, and Blackmouth. DeusLower is a bustling city for the rich and powerful. It is also the home of the Royal Academy of Mystic Arts, or RAMA. The main cultural aspect of DeusLower that I've designed so far is food and cooking. Food is a massive part of DeusLower's culture. Restaurants and cafes are very popular locations. The city gets almost all of its produce as fresh as it can be from Blackmouth and Grasstide. Meat from cattle, pigs, poultry, etc. and dairy products, however, are kept by animal farmers on the outskirts of the city. The royal family and other nobles often host big banquets. Showing off your wealth through food and parties is the key in DeusLower. Even humble chefs and owners of cafes or restaurants will host events to display their ability to cook. I'm really looking forward to designing the fashion and architecture for this city. I think it will be very fun. Okay, moving on to Grasstide, which is a small farming village. And when I say small, I mean the village itself is small, but the farmland is absolutely massive. All of Iraeus' fresh produce comes from here. Vegetables, fruits, herbs, grains, and nuts. I will admit though, I have done the least amount of work on this village. It's definitely still a work in progress. Maybe I'll make a video about building up this village more. Let me know in the comments if you'd like to see that. Blackmouth is the town I've done the most work on. It's a fishing town that thrives with its 3 farmer markets, which also happen to sort of define the 3 sort of suburbs of Blackmouth. The Pier Market is the biggest and most popular market, but because it gets so much foot traffic, it's more expensive for sellers to hire a stand. It's also a hot spot for pickpockets. This is by the ocean and is surrounded by middle-class dwellings. This area has a low crime rate. The pickpockets are pretty much the only criminals around there. Butchers Avenue is the next market. It's relatively popular. It's much cheaper for sellers to hire stands here and is more used by the middle and lower classes. This market is surrounded by a mix of middle and lower class dwellings. The crime rate isn't exactly high, but it's not low either. There are a few pickpockets, a few local homeless people, but everyone knows everyone and this area is generally safe to be in. The last market is the back streets. This market is less of a market and more of a collection of 5 or 6 small laneways. It has some more specialized produce. Rarer fish and other rare produce, magical items, and potions that can cause a variety of effects on the drinker. It would be unwise to go there alone. Never go at night unless you're up to something shady. In that case, just go ahead. If you know where to look and know what to say, you can get into the passage. The passage is a secret laneway full of vendors selling particular goods that is only open at night on certain days. Some goods might be a bit illegal, some are very illegal. The back streets market is surrounded by low-class dwellings. The crime rate isn't ridiculously high, but there is definitely crime, and homelessness is more of a problem here. And finally, Bellmire, which is a military and academy town, which basically means it's financially run and supported by the military and the academies. Bellmire is where all of the recruits for the Royal Army and Guard go to get trained up at the Royal Armed Force Academy, or RAFA. And it's also where the Bellmire Institution of Mystics is, which is one of the 2 magic schools in Iraeus. If you want to learn more about the magic system in Iraeus, by the way, go check out my other lore dump video. I'll link it up in the corner for you. But finish watching this video first. The majority of Bellmire's inhabitants either attend one of these academies or work at one of these academies. There are a few families that have been here for generations and just refuse to move away from their home turf. but they still support the academies in some way. And that is all of the human settlements. In terms of geography, there are a couple features of note. First is the living sea. It's called that because of the myths and legends among the fishermen about the merfolk. There are the mountains that border the northwest of Iraeus, which the wolffolk live at the base of in the cave. There's a river that runs through the middle of Iraeus that separates the hare, wolf, and badger folk from the humans. And of course, there is the forest that covers most of the land. And that is Iraeus. This lore dump wasn't as chatty as the last one, probably because I'm still working on a lot of the cultures and whatnot. But let me know what your thoughts are on Iraeus. Do you like it? Are there things that you think I should change or improve? Let me know in the comments down below. I'd love to hear your thoughts. I also just love reading your guys' comments in general. You can tell me about whatever and I'll be happy to read and reply. Remember to like the video and subscribe too if you want to tag along with me as I try and turn Adventures of Moss into a real thing. As well as the graphic novel, I'm going to be making a webcomic that will be free to read, which is called The Life of Moss. The webcomic will be a fantasy slice of life comic about Moss living with his harefolk family. The webcomic starts a year before Moss goes on his big adventure, so he's just 5 years old. I'm currently working on the first few chapters. I just want to get a stockpile of finished pages before I start posting them anywhere, but I will let you guys know when and where you can find the comic just before I start posting. I'd also like to say thank you guys so much for all your support so far. It really means so much to me. And that is all from me for now. Thank you guys so much for watching. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe, all those good YouTube things. I hope you all have a wonderful day or night wherever you are, and I'll see you all next time. Bye!